Good morning, guys. Stephen here, 20 past 10 on April 21st. Typically, I was just about to do a 5 Things Learned video. I just spent ages scheduling and all that kind of stuff to talk about the Everton game. And then this Bernardo Silva news broke, actually, which I think is way more interesting right now, much more prescient than anything we can talk about in the 5 Things Learned. So I think we have to talk about this because I think there are actually very big implications of this potential transfer. And I do actually now believe it's true. I think there's something very much in this. So if you don't know what's going on here, I'll go over to the reports on the aggregators. It's come from, it's on City Extra, 1 second. Here we go. It says, Man City have told Bernardo Silva that he's not part of their plans beyond the season. The 30-year-old has expressed a desire to return to Portugal this summer. Benfica are ready to find an agreement with Man City for Bernardo Silva this summer, with Mendes planning an agreement on terms. Everything will be done to facilitate a smooth process. However, the 50 million release clause is impossible for Benfica. Interest in Barcelona in Bernardo is considered impossible to realise in summer due to the club's financial issues, while Saudi is not deemed a priority by the Man City midfielder. I think this is true. This is from Sasha Tavolieri. Apparently, I asked the mate. I'm going to be honest with you. I asked the mate. I asked the mate about this, and and I think it's very much true. I think it is. I do feel that there's a lot in this. I get a feeling that this is actually true. So basically, you've got. Sasha himself is very, very reliable. I wasn't sure how much he is. It's apparently he's got very good sources and he doesn't tend to tweet things unless he knows it's true or the source is telling the truth as far as they know it. So I think there's something in this. Now, my initial skepticism was that Guardiola wants to keep players that are available. He keeps talking about availability being the most important attribute. There's no point having that quality if you're not available, given all the injuries. I think it's very obvious the injuries that has bugged him this season. And Bernardo Silva is always available. He's always available. So I felt that if anyone was likely to stay with the older guys, it'd be Bernardo Silva because Guardiola loves him. And he's very much, he's very much reliable and so on. So I thought it wouldn't be that. Iana Moran said that in the chat. I think Pet comments about whatever happens in the future, these players are legends. Yeah, I think that's... So I spoke to him, mate. I'll be honest with you. I was chatting to Asan from 9320, and he said his gut instinct was that Pep said to Cheeky, Varane, Viana, you guys, you make the decisions, and I will crack on, and I trust you. I think that's true. I believe that is true, because I think Pep Guardiola, I think he knows deep down that he's very close to these players. He's wedded to them. He's very loyal to them. They're legends. And more than that, they're his friends. Some of these people like Gundogan and Bernardo Silva, smart lads. I think he feels almost fatherly to people like Bernardo Silva and almost at the friend level with people like Gundogan too, where they're sort of like his protege, so to speak. So I think Guardiola is very aware of his link to this. And I think he is giving the keys to the rebuild. It is Asan, actually. Yeah, it is Asan. I wasn't sure how much. I thought, Asan's not bothered if I say I'd be speaking to him about it. I just texted Asan saying, look, how reliable is Sasha? And he said he's very, very, very reliable, Sasha. And I was like, I wasn't sure about the availability thing. But Asan himself from 9320 did tweet these things here, as you can see. He said, confirmed by Sasha that Bernardo has been told he's not part of the club's future. Gut feelings that the future of all the older players has been taken out Pep's hand would tally with his repeated mantra about how much these players are given whatever happens in the future. Yeah, I think Asan is onto something here. Sasha has said, obviously, there's the translation. Bernardo Silva to Benfica and Arsenal is looking to place Tom White. Yeah, so I think this is absolutely 100% true. I think there's something in this. And the Harry Kane saga thing, by the way, I know you're getting that, but to be fair, Harry Kane thought he was coming to Manchester City as well. Don't blame Asan for the Harry Kane thing. Everyone thought he was coming. Harry Kane thought he was coming, but it turns out Harry Kane's an idiot. Or Harry Kane's brother, Charlie Kane's an idiot even, and never agreed it. So, look, Asan knows people, he knows things. And I think in this instance, he understands Mendes and, Mendes is his agent. Mendes is his agent, and I think he will get what he wants in this instance. So I think there's something in this. Now, I want everyone to obviously remember that Bernardo Silva is a legend. I will not countenance anyone playing down Bernardo Silva because he's tired a bit in the last year and a half. Bernardo Silva is, in my opinion, he's He's a cult hero, and also a legend. I think he's got the fieriness and the shithousiness and the lovability of someone like a Zabaleta, while also being a technically world-class player. He's very peak. Don't forget, Bernardo Silva was in the top 10 for the Ballon d'Or rankings at one point. Bernardo Silva is a phenomenal footballer that we would not do what we've done over the past 10 years without Bernardo Silva being there. I think he's a legend. To me, he's one of the greatest players I've ever seen in the Manchester City shirt. He's top 20 players I've ever seen in the City shirt. So, to me, he's a legend. That's it. Like, he's better. He's better than he's in our top 10 midfielders ever. So, so I just don't see how he isn't a legend personally. Like, he's literally the top probably 20, 30 City players ever. And that to me is like, I think we forget just how good he is because we've had David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne at 35, 40 million. I think we paid for him, Mark. Look at his massive goals against Madrid. Look at his incredible long-range efforts against the goals he scored against United all the time. His reliability. I still think Bernardo Silva's best performance was when we beat Liverpool in 2019 when he was in midfield. Oh, he carried us. He was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, and I think the only reason Bernardo Silva ever wanted to move, by the way, was simply because he just wasn't that keen on Manchester. Look, I'm from Manchester, and I didn't really like living in the city centre either. And I'm literally a man-born and bred lad, so I don't blame people wanting to live somewhere sunnier, because I'm looking outside now and it's pissing it down, and I get it. So I've never held that against him, because he clearly loves City, clearly loves the fans, clearly loves playing in the Premier League and his teammates. He's just not that keen on Manchester because it's a bit miserable. And he's right, it is. And to me, and he's got a young family. So I've never really bothered about him that, because he was always respectful and he was always great and all that kind of stuff. So I've never been bothered about him not being that bothered about living in Manchester. I don't take that personally. It's not a beautiful place, Manchester. It isn't. We can all pretend it is, but it isn't. It's like, it's a cool city, but it's not a beautiful city if you're a millionaire young lad with a beautiful young family, all this kind of stuff. But anyway, I think it's fair to say Bernardo Silva as well. My issue with Bernardo Silva is that he's sort of lost his joy to his game. I think he's turned into a workhorse. And I think a lot of it is because the formation's come a bit of a grind. He's come a bit older. And also, I don't think anyone in world football has ran more than Bernardo Silva over the past 10 years. Like, his energy is ridiculous. Consecutive minutes is absolutely absurd. I think he's got in the top 5 leagues, no one has been in more consecutive match day squads than Bernardo Silva in European football. No one. Over the past 10 years. It's ridiculous. He's constantly there. So for me, I got nothing but love for Bernardo Silva. I just think the joy and the energy of his game's gone. I think what Bernardo Silva needs, and I'm happy for him to have, is that move back home. He wants to be close to his family, you can tell. He wants to he wants to be close to his family, raise his beautiful young family as well over there, and enjoy his football as he retires slowly. And I'm so happy for him. I hope he gets it more than anything, because I think it's the right time. And right, why now? Well, yeah, look, I was going to talk about him in the 5 Things Learned video, which I never got around to doing. I think, he had 1 or 2 all right moments, and he played the pass for the overlap for Nunes, but largely you can see that he can't really pin defenders back in the way he used to. A little bit of the magic's gone with his footwork and all that kind of stuff, and a little bit, half a step of pace, I would argue, has disappeared. He's just he's a good player now, but he's not a great player anymore, Reliable, never injured, incredibly hardworking, smart, likeable. I won't take any bad faith towards Bernardo Silva at all. He's an absolute fucking hero. I love the guy, I really do. But I am very excited by this news, not because I want to see Bernardo Silva go in the sense of fuck you, Bernardo. No, I want to see City take action. And Bernardo Silva, to me, is more than anyone, I would argue. I would say Bernardo Silva leaving this summer would be the biggest statement transfer. And obviously De Bruyne is a bigger name. But what I mean by that is in terms of context. Kevin De Bruyne is very often injured, and his contract was up. It was very easy to say goodbye to a 34-year-old with lots of injuries. It was easy. It was a very obvious decision. Either he stays or he goes. It wasn't that hard to do, if that makes sense. It was not an easy decision to make, but it's not a hard decision to put into action, if that makes sense. It's very easy to go, well, contract's up, it's done. It's a binary yes or no. With Bernardo Silva, you have to sort of accept, you have to organise your transfer. He's 30 years old. He still could play for a few years. So basically, and he's also Guardiola's favourite. Pep absolutely loves Bernardo Silva. So I think this sign, to me, is Viana, Cheeky, Ferran, them saying, we're moving on, Pep. And Pep going, okay. I think this isn't the Pep Guardiola decision. I don't think it is. And I like that. I think this is the director of football. I think it's the football insider, off the pitch side, that have decided Bernardo's time to move on. And I think it's bang on. Like, I would rather James McAtee play every single game in that role that Bernardo was in the other day as opposed to Bernardo Silva. I think you need to find the next level of excitement. Because I look at Bernardo Silva and I just don't see the joy in his game anymore. And what I mean by that is, like, obviously, I don't think he always tries, he works really hard. But I'm not seeing a guy who's got that love of football currently embedded in him. He looks like he needs to relax him, just be, but everything's a toil for him these days. And it's the right time. It's absolutely the right time. Like, and look, I felt, of all the ones, if I was going to talk about John Stones, Ake, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, if you were to ask me a month ago which one's most likely to stay, I would have said Bernardo Silva. Easy. Like, absolutely easy. I would have hands down thought Bernardo Silva would be the one to stay because he's Pep's adopted son, for crying out loud. He may as well be his dad. So this to me is a very significant, very substantial news. It suggests to me that City are going to be ruthless. De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva going in one summer. Don't be surprised if you see John Stones being told he can go. Don't be surprised, if you see other players moving on. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how it moves on. I think it's true. I think there's a lot in it. I'm fascinated to see how it will play out. And we'll see how it goes. Could Gundo stay? Maybe. Have you heard gibbs-white been house hunting in Manchester? I know I haven't heard that, mate. I don't know. KDB's crying. I also don't mind De Bruyne being disappointed, by the way. Look, breakups hurt. Aguero was disappointed, but, Aguero was fine. Joe Hart was disappointed when he left, but Joe Hart's fine. Look, breakups hurt. They do, and that's fine. And I feel like pride is kicking in there. He absolutely, obviously feels he can still do it, De Bruyne. And as I was replying to 9320 on Twitter this morning as well, saying, I mean, when you're so used to having the ability to bend the world to your will, like Kevin De Bruyne has, a genius, if one day the world just goes, nah, and you can't do anything about it, it must be a little bit sore. It must sting your pride a little bit. And also, I think there's an element of De Bruyne just being brutally honest, He's also smart. Like, he knows if he turns around and goes, oh, no, I won't play in the Premier League, well, you lose your bargaining power, don't you? You might still want to, but I don't know. But you lose, you lose a lot of potential bargaining power. So it's just business. And I think he probably did want to stay in Manchester, and probably been told that actually you're not really part of the future and you can't do it every week. It's probably a little bit of a hit to the pride of a guy who has been one of the best to ever do it. Like, it's not easy to accept age. It's hard, So I'm not too bothered about the De Bruyne thing. I think it stings a little bit. But De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva leaving in one summer, that's like two greats. I think they're two greats, But we've been very lucky to witness both of them. And I think there's something in this. Now, of course, Bernardo actually leaving is going to be hard to do. Like, you can't just, you can't just force him to move on. I think he probably wants to. We know he wants to. We absolutely all know he wants to move on. But one second. We can't force him to move on and all that kind of stuff. It was just something we'll sort out. I mean, I think it's I think we'll see him move on potentially. It'll be one of those things where Benfica maybe do a deal 15 to 20 million, something like that, but we'll see. I think it'll take a little bit of negotiation. It'll be a compromise fee, 10, 15 million, maybe with some potential add-ons or something like that, but I think he will move on. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below if you think he'll move on. Bernardo, I absolutely love you, and I'll see you later for match preview. In a bit. Bye-bye.